What's going on, guys? My name is Corey Sutton, and today we are up against the Godskin Duo. This is a pretty tough fight, honestly. We've gone through the game. We're at Crumbling Farumazula, and we've fought each of these individually. But now they put both of them in the same room, and From Software says, okay, have at it, have fun. So, jumping right into it, I went into this fight with a ranged build. For the most part, arcane build with range. I do have bleed on my weapon, but for this fight, I end up not using it too much, and you'll be able to see why going in. So again, what I typically do is I have my Mimic as a damage sponge, and I do my best to get off Exeek's Decay for that rot damage. So we'll have some good overtime damage. But there are a couple of things that we really need to pay attention to with this fight, and it's if one of them dies, he will come back to life after a few seconds. I actually didn't know that going into this fight. I kind of tried to kill them off evenly, and you'll notice right here they're both dead, and I actually had no idea what was happening. So this guy comes back first, and I'm like, okay, so I just have to fight this guy off again. My Mimic dies at this point, but again, I think, okay, no big deal. I can fight this guy alone all day long. And then in the background, I see that his buddy comes back as well. So I play like a complete scaredy cat, and I just try to keep as much distance as possible. A couple of things to note about these guys, other than the fact that they spawn or respawn together as long as one is alive, is that every time you try to cast a spell or cast a heal, they're a lot like Margit, where they will attempt to throw a fireball right as you attempt to make a cast. So you have to either be very careful, very quick, or have really good timing with your spells. So as we keep going and as we watch again, you'll see right there, his spell went way off kilter, so I just simply got lucky. And I've always found the bigger, plumper Godskin to be the more threatening of the two. So you'll notice I make sure to keep the bigger guy in front of me, or at least in view, while constantly circling and trying to keep the other one as far away as possible and separating them as much as I can. I know at this point, since it's just me and not my Mimic, that I'm not going to be able to get off any long-term spells or Dragon Arcane incantations at all. So I simply keep it to Swarm of Flies, which is pretty quick, and just circling, keeping them separated, even sprinting away as if I have to, just so I can get a flask off. That is the name of the game here. I was unable to find another way. If you're going into this fight completely melee, I would recommend using a Mimic and going 2v1 in that case. So you'll have to fight both of them sort of at the same time. But if you focus on whoever your Mimic is focusing, you might be able to circle and get out of it as much as you can if you're doing melee. So I think this video and the tips and just watching it to learn what they're going to do is going to be best utilized if you are following along with a ranged build. So again, just to recap, it was funny because of how low their health is. I was able to kill the larger Godskin, and he still respawned despite the low health of the total at the bottom. So now, once I realized this, in my head going into this fight, I figured once they both respawn the first time, I'd have to simply just kill them both again in order to win. But it's actually not true. You just have to get that total entire health bar down. So you can kind of go with that and use that as advice going in. Like, hey, you don't have to kill them both twice. You just have to simply do enough total damage to get it all of the way down. So that was my fight. I hope some of what I said was useful, or just watching it is useful. It did take me quite a few tries. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, just let me know. Thank you.